Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wind, Reel, and Print. My name is Ryan.
And my name is Kevin.
And today, what started as us watching the film The Drama, which just recently came out, to adding another film onto it called Dream Scenario by, I should mention, the director Kristoffer Borgli. I think that we're going to talk about him. Watching those two films has now quickly become something else. Would be the way I would describe it. For those of you that don't know, just to give a little bit of context, there's Kristoffer Borgli wrote an essay a while back, or like 10 years ago or something like that. He was 27, and he was writing about him having a relationship with a 16-year-old, which is obviously creep shit, weird, gross in a lot of ways. And if you read the essay, which you can, the Hollywood Reporter published it, and a lot of other people did too, you know, he's coming up with a lot of like excuses for it. Mm-hmm. He is kind of fantasizing about it very much in like a Lolita kind of way, if we were to like pull in like movie things. And obviously Woody Allen did a lot of those same things too. And in the essay, he talks about, Manhattan.
My favorite quote.
Go for
I
it.
Listened to Woody over my friends in this instance.
Yes, because
like, what?
And credit to him. He wrote in it. He asked his friends. His friends told him, "Don't do it. Don't." And so, for all we know from the essay, it was like over the period of a summer and all of these things. But we don't know this guy's full life. But this is what came out, and I had been seeing, we had left the drama and we had a lot of really
great
we had a lot of great things to say and all of this. And then I'm slowly watching the numbers on the star ratings on Kevin's letterbox for these movies just keep going, just keep going down. And so I wanted to have a discussion with you, Kevin, where we could kind of talk about kind of the reasons for that. I'm curious how much the outside stuff kind of bleeds into the critique of the films in general. And then maybe at a certain point we could talk about what it even means to ethically watch movies and critique movies at all in some ways. And I have a few things in other directions, but I'm talking because I just wanted to set the ground floor, because I'll also here's the other thing I was going to say, because Kevin and I kind of talked a little bit beforehand. Like, I don't want to come off as a defender of this creep. Because I did enjoy these movies and I have a lot of really great things to say about them, especially because this is a director editor. And I was really hoping we would be able to have a discussion about like those sorts of things. Like the editing and stuff is so cool. And I'm just such a huge fan of it, especially what they did in the drama.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, sure. Well, I don't know if that's where I talked on all that. And now we're going to talk about that.
No, yeah. I think, this is how I structured my review, because I wanted a specific effect within how you process the information.
Sure.
So yeah, let's talk about, because to also say, like, I do enjoy these movies from the onset, like especially Dream Scenario. I watched a couple times when it came out.
Yeah, I saw your old reviews were quite
high. Yeah. Or I appreciated the form and like what it was doing in a lot of the same ways that I liked the drama. And rewatching it now, I feel like the drama was way, way more refined in doing a lot of these things.
Than Dream Scenario?
Yeah.
I would say so too. Like, I definitely see what both are trying to do, but Dream Scenario feels a lot more kind of like loose. Yeah. And I mean, I guess if you care about story and stuff like that, the drama is very tight and it feels like it knows what it's doing. Especially in the editing, it's much more refined. Dream Scenario is kind of like got some crazy shit going on.
Yeah. So I definitely enjoyed the drama more, like in this viewing, whatever.
Yeah. And we had talked, like, it's funny. Like, I wish you guys could, the audience, you know, we come out of the theater and we're like, oh my God, that was so great. And obviously, awesome. As we kind of think about movies, and that's why I don't really even like talking about movies a lot of times, like right after I watch them, because there's a lot of processing and absorption and all of these things. Sometimes I like to just sleep on it before I kind of really know. But like, we came out for what it's worth, we came out and we were like, oh my God, this. And we were driving back home and talking about all of these things. And, so I end up seeing Kevin's Letterboxd review, and it's a little lower than what I thought was going to be, because we were like
Talking
gassing it up a lot.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Kevin had a really good thing in it, which was like the butt, I guess you might say, at the end of the review. And I'm happy to keep talking about the films, but I do kind of want to get to the
that
butt.
point.
Yeah. I think because that's what's interesting to me.
Sure.
If you could kind of explain the butt for you,
Yeah.
because because you brought in some things even into the butt portion, the ass portion of your review, that I was like, oh, that you're making a lot of connections that maybe I hadn't seen. So maybe you can talk on that.
Yeah. Well, I think so for context, I don't think I read his essay prior to watching the movie.
Yeah.
So like the initial reaction was like, wow, this was a really solid movie. For like what it's worth, like just watching the thing, great movie.
Yeah.
I think I was just like thinking, like ruminating on like a lot of the mechanisms behind the movie, like what it's trying to say, and then like I don't know, like why there were certain hiccups with like things that we didn't particularly like with certain characters or like certain acting performances or whatever.
Yeah. And we're specifically talking about I forget one of the Haim sisters. I forget what her name is.
Ronald Haynes, I think.
Yeah, and then her partner in it. The acting performances were very strange, and kind of like stilted and weird. And I feel like there's a reason for maybe why that is, but yeah, those are the performances we're talking about specifically.
So yeah, I was just like thinking about it. And then so I read the article just to get context on
Yeah, and
this
and the
person.
audience, it's very short. Like it
It's
is a
pretty
very short
short.
article, so
Yeah.
go and read it.
Go and read it. And I think reading it really changed like how I understood the movie
Mm,
in just like I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt and
mhm.
was like, it's, you know, people, I don't know. Obviously, it's legal in the country, right? Norway or whatever.
And maybe technically isn't pedophilia.
Right,
Like,
right. Like,
and I told this before. I think
it's,
it was a Giancarlo joke.
yeah,
That
yeah.
like I didn't want to come on defending pedophilia and be like, it's not, it's hebrophilia or whatever, because also the worst people do that. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
So, you kind of have to take like a lot of these accusations with a grain of salt, I feel like. But after reading the article, it's just like it made me feel so weird.
mm,
Like his rationalization of it, him using movies to defend
yeah, isn't it?
himself, s-
Yeah,
a little fucking weird. To show the inner thinking,
yeah,
like he showed way too many of his cards, I feel like, in
yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, and
um,
honestly, credit to him. Like, it felt like a very like it felt like it was like,
he-
whoa,
yeah,
yeah. It
he-
feels very honest and surprising.
right,
Yeah.
right. Um,
Also, just shows movies do matter, and if you make movies
Respect the movies.
that, like Manhattan with Woody Allen,
Yeah, he quoted
people are going,
Manhattan.
people are going to justify and be like, oh yeah, Woody Allen did it. That's awesome. You know.
Yeah, and so that line of like, "Oh, I listened to Woody over my friends," that just made me think, this guy's insane. Like this guy is like way out of his fucking
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Um, and then so that to me is like why I just started like connecting a lot of things to this movie of like, why are you picking this topic? Why are you putting in the school shooting thing? And then we also had like there was no shooting in the thing. Like there was just like a lot of things that felt very weird to me. And so
Mm.
I don't know, I feel like it if I were to surmise, I feel like he's using these movies as a way to platform his like rationalization of this thing, um which to me feels icky.
Mm.
um like I don't know if I can get down with that plane of thinking
Mm.
in this way, you know what I mean? Because it's like I'll like, going into the separation of the art and the artist, right? Like if you're using the art to express this thing, I I don't know if like I just don't think.
Well, that I think that's the I think that's the difference in a lot of ways. I mean, if the art is saying
Over.
something,
Yeah.
like then it's saying something, and then you can kind of connect it up. And it's obviously like you watch Annie Hall, for example, which we both really like,
Yeah.
right?
So,
And obviously, oh, go for it, go for it. You want to keep finishing
that's
your thought?
my comparison of
Sure.
like Annie Hall feels like it's a movie outside of the plane of like the persona of Woody Allen that we know. You know what
Except
I
for
mean?
at the end,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I will. Yeah.
it's very gross at the end. We don't have to defend that, but I mean, I know what you're getting at. I know what you're getting at. Yeah.
Whereas Manhattan is very clearly directly commentating on that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I feel like when you even at his other films, like Midnight in Paris, maybe doesn't is outside of the plane of Woody Allen, right? Of the
Yeah, yeah. If we're talking about like his creep shit,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
feels like it is outside of that. I mean, it is much like I think every single one of his movies has an older man with a
yeah,
younger woman,
yeah.
and we have Owen Wilson with Leia Sedao, and I'm not sure what the age gap is there, but
Sure,
that is basically every movie that he
right.
makes. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, exactly. That was my other point. Is that he
yeah.
does use it a lot in a lot of his movies.
Oh yeah,
Um, and I feel like you it it makes it when you're doing that, when you're using the art to express those things that are just
yeah,
not human or right or whatever.
yeah,
Like I feel like that's not you're defiling the art form. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like my quote, my clip thing. According to my religious my according to my religious beliefs, like this is not right, right? Like
Yeah.
the cinematic form is an expression of the spirit. And if you're using that to express bad things,
Yeah.
you're defiling the art form, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just like watching Dream Scenario, especially too, like had that the
There's a
scene
more
thing.
explicit
Yeah, yeah.
part in it, yeah, where the Nicolas Cage's character
It's like hooking
is
up with the younger.
yeah, is hooking up with someone, and there's a lot of like really weird things about it because it's about like a guy who shows up in people's dreams, which is a
Yeah,
really
yeah,
interesting idea for a film, and I do like the premise a lot. Just like
yeah,
a really uninteresting guy, but then one young, like maybe early 20s
yeah,
woman is has sexual dreams about him,
yeah,
and then asks him to kind of like come over and reenact it.
yeah.
Um, and it doesn't go well, thank God, but
He
it's still
fart
like
joke, fart joke.
yeah, fart joke. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that one felt more explicit with like that, but it also doesn't feel like
and well,
it's saying. Oh, go for it. Go for it.
I
Do you
just
want to
feel
finish your
like
thought?
certain things that Nick Cage is saying is like aligning with how Borgli is feeling when
Mm.
he's being like ostracized by his friends or something like that.
Well, true. I mean, you could say Dream Scenario is kind of about like being canceled,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
exactly.
that's it's kind of like what the movie is. Like he's
Right,
being blamed for things that he didn't do. It's all in
right.
everyone's dreams. And so that's yeah, I guess that can be a larger commentary
Yeah,
on kind of being ostracized for what he doesn't believe is his fault.
right. And so that kind of like whenever I had originally watched it, I had felt that in the back of my head, like this feels like a kind of cancel culture apologist sort of angle,
Yeah.
but I'm just gonna take it for what it is and pull what I like from it, which I had written in previous reviews. But then
Yes.
like reading his essay, watching the drama, it's like, oh, this is so clearly that. Like
Yeah.
it's so unavoidable in my head. Like it's now I guess tinged with this thing.
Yeah. Tainted,
Tainted,
if you
yeah.
will. Yeah.
Stained.
Stained.
Um, so yeah, that's my quabble with the
Okay,
gobble.
just because Dream Scenario is a little more obvious, what's kind of your thought on the drama and how that perpetuates his worldview?
Yeah, yeah. Let
Do you
me
have you does
read the
that
article.
yeah does that
Where
yeah
did
because
it go?
I'd be curious, like there's obviously yeah I don't know, that one felt a little less than if we could literally pull out something
Yeah,
where it's
okay.
like there's a couple shots of him like with the
Boom.
young girl.
Yeah.
um
So
what
going back to the characters that we didn't like, the
mm-hmm,
performances that we didn't like,
mm-hmm.
an accusation or a critique that some people had were that these characters were one note.
Yes.
Um,
All characters or those two?
those two.
Okay.
Um, and I agree, like their reactions felt so strong in ways that didn't feel accurate
Yeah. Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
story or like what the thing was,
Yeah.
right? So
I would
I
agree.
feel like he's pulling that experience from like this thing of like people being very reactionary to like his whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then this whole idea of like her doing the school shooting but not doing the school shooting and then like planning it not doing it, like this kind of weird moral gray area.
So you're saying kind of like being blamed for something you didn't do once again
Yeah,
is kind of what this movie's doing.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like rationalizing that and then like giving psychology to the person, it's like it
Which is a
just
really like it
it's
is
great.
it is great because it feels like it's something not done before and kind of these other things. Like it's not being an apology. I don't think it's going full apologist for like school shooters, but it is
Right,
giving a depth to like what makes someone become a school shooter, which I
right.
think is very interesting. And the character that one of the characters we don't like is like very much like cannot rationalize that. And we,
Yeah,
as people who live in the Bay Area and live with around people that are like, you will call them liberal, like Democrats and things like that, are like
yeah.
very like,
Like
oh,
we
we love you, but then
understand.
are
Yeah,
so like we'll never, if you don't fit the worldview or whatever, or just they feel like that character, which is just like this one note, like I'm not like it's my way or the highway in my belief.
right, right,
A
right.
school shooter is a school shooter is a school shooter. And even if you don't do it, you're sick in the head. And it's also like, what does it mean? Like there's a world where like I imagine a beautiful, amazing world where you like sending someone to jail isn't sending them to jail to be destroyed and and their life completely
Tortured.
dismantled.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah, it's to be brought back up, to be
Rehab.
retaught.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's rehabilitation. And that's what I think so many people don't believe, that are like those kinds, like that character,
right,
are
right.
just like, you know what, get them out of here. Oh, and I think we talked about it's like how people treat the homeless, right?
Hmm.
It's just like out of sight, out of mind. I don't actually want to think about it.
The like
Um,
dehumanization of
yeah,
outsiders or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is that it can take that meaning, but then you can also look at this thing that this guy did and be like, okay, this is the intention or this is the actual meaning. And
Yeah.
I
It's
think that oh, go for it.
well, it's on that note of intention. It's like without the essay, you
Mm-hmm.
could argue you don't know, because it's like human psychology. We don't know like what he's thinking when he's making these
Yeah,
movies.
and I'll also say, just to add on to that, we watch movies all the time.
Yeah.
We don't know everything about every director
No.
or
Yeah,
anything.
exactly.
Yeah,
This,
clearly we never could. Yeah, it's
exactly.
impossible. Yeah.
But I think with this thing and how specifically how he's using movies to defend his position,
It
it's
is
like
crazy.
it's hard for me to not to
Wouldn't you do the same?
separate.
No, I'm not. And ooh,
Yeah,
I said,
I
wouldn't you
got
do the same? Not in terms of that, but like to use cinema as like the
yes,
reason to do things. Like it is like a
absolutely,
really like he just did the evil version.
exactly, and that's where I'm like, no, no, you
Yeah.
can't do that. Because it's like D.W. Griffith, right? The conversation around him, it's like he's using the form to defend this specific position. It's like
Yes.
some people can separate those two things, but I feel like when when the intention is this for this, like you're defiling what the mechanisms of that thing is, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I know
And
what you mean.
it's like bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we have obviously talked about Birth of a Nation on this podcast before, and it's
Yeah,
like the only review I have it on Letterboxd for what it's worth that I gave it a half a star because,
right.
like, of course you can say, "Wow, it's grand, it's
Hmm.
beautiful," but it so is explicitly evil in what it's doing that I can't excuse it for just how racist it is
Right.
and how apologetic it is for
That.
the most one of the most racist evil organizations that exist, which
Yeah.
is like the KKK or the Confederacy or all of these things. Like it's so it to me is like watching it'd be like watching Triumph of the Will, right? I don't
Right.
know if you've seen that, but like that's like,
I've seen
oh,
that.
how glorious the Nazis were and how
Yeah.
glorious they look and everything like that. And you could be like, whoa, the camera work is really great because it
The
in a lot
camera
of ways
work
it
is
is.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is like it gets a lot of like I think it's in the 1001 Movies to See Before You Die book. Like it is
Crazy.
like an explicitly like if you're looking at the form outside of it, it has qualities that you can admire, right? Just like even Birth of a Nation has some qualities that can be admired.
Yeah.
But then where is the line? I
Yeah.
think another is like Gummo, for example, and that was in that same
Mm,
conversation, right?
yeah.
Like I even have a hard time appreciating it because it's so like it
It's
shows
so
so much
crazy.
yeah, it just shows so much animal cruelty in it. It shows so much like
Racism.
racism. It feels like it is taking advantage of its subjects
Yeah.
in it because it is so real, and I imagine he just kind of fucking went in there.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, and I ask myself sometimes like what is the job as the viewer, and I think everyone else has their own
Mm,
answer to this. What is the job
right.
as the viewer to know what is happening behind it, like to know what is going on and what the intention is, and not just to watch it and take it for what it is.
Right.
I think there's no I personally don't think there's an explicit answer on either side. I think
Right.
everyone's going to do their own thing and you can't
Right.
possibly whatever.
Hmm.
And maybe I'm a little more because I absolutely see where you're coming from and it
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. And now even more, I'm like, oh, okay, I see how someone with like a sick mind can use these films as justifications
Right.
or as just manifestations of these justifications that they're coming up with
Right.
in their mind, which I think is vital. I mean, it's just vital conversation to
Yeah.
talk about this. Like, it's not something that shouldn't be talked about.
Right.
But yeah, no, it just there. I guess there are levels and what how far you want to go on the spectrum of
Yeah.
what is important. But then there's also like, I don't. You're not necessarily searching out when you watch a new movie who these directors are. It's the fact that this came out and was presented, and it is what it is. And so there's also the times when it's just kind of thrown in our face too, when it's like, hey, look at this,
Yeah.
and yeah,
It
it
just becomes a part of the conversation, like
right, yeah,
inevitably. Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. It's interesting. Obviously, we will have to watch Manhattan at some point.
Yeah. I heard it's
Clearly,
great.
from who? Borgli? You've
So
been talking to Borgli?
from friends, I have a lot of friends who like really appreciate Woody Allen, and
Yeah,
to as a film lover, I love Woody Allen. Like his movies are great.
yeah,
He represents like a very specific style of filmmaking that kind of doesn't really exist anymore.
I have a question for you. Like, if Borgli comes out, because I also think like his movies do feel very unique and interesting to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, would you say the same things in 10, 20 years? If like it turns out Borgli's made films that are like important to the conversation. Like, I feel like we're decades into Woody Allen's career.
Yeah.
And Woody Allen never stopped being a creep. Like he's like next
Riding
level.
hard.
Like, yeah, exactly. He did not stop.
Doubled down.
He doubled down. He's in the Epstein. Like this guy did not stop. And so to also say like, hey, like I can appreciate him. I think, I personally think like, okay, that's just being rational. You don't necessarily like, you can still, I think it is important to be like, okay, this guy is a creep. And then his movie is also this, or his movie is this in spite of that.
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean to separate it? But yeah, I mean, you think like in 50 years, if Borgli comes out to have done a lot of these things, that it will make a difference? I don't know.
Yeah, I am frequently one to swing the ratings pendulum on a lot of movies for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah. And you're an open-minded person. Like I'm not trying to say you're not that.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I think I'm always going to keep like an open mind to whatever. And I definitely feel like I'll come around to the drama. Like I could see myself coming around to the drama because it is a really great movie.
Yeah. Says some interesting things.
Yeah. I think I do kind of exist as multiple people in terms of like really appreciating the form. Like there's one side that just like loves movies. And then there's like the film critique person who's like very aware of, what's happening in the world, how these movies are affecting people and like thought and, trying to find balance between these two people. And like, I think the rating system is like an interesting division between like opinion and kind of quote unquote fact, like material fact. Like it's hard to be like this was good versus I like this, it's hard to kind of separate those two things.
Yeah. What is a review anyways? Like we can't be like anyone that thinks that they're being objective with like, you're crazy. Yeah, exactly. That's not possible. That's why I think you look at like an aggregation of reviews and things like that, right? Like, and that's why you go on Letterboxd and you see like all of the different things, and it's like, oh, there's the average, right? And if you ever look and there's like, wow, someone that I would give a 5-star to this movie gave a 1-star. Like, it's like, are you mad? Yeah. Are you crazy? Everyone's a little mad. Everyone's a little crazy, and they go in all of these. Yeah, it is interesting. What is the what do the ratings really mean? It is kind of just what you bring to it, and it is what it is. Yeah. The way you review, the way I review, the way anyone reviews is different.
Yeah,
it's
interesting.
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know. Borgli.
Yeah, if
he adapts Lolita, I'm out.
Then yeah, it's interesting because like I tried to do more I did as much research as like a Google search and like going through all these articles and things to see like there's nothing since then, so maybe he closed the door.
Recent.
Yeah, like it was 10 years ago that this article came out and all of these things, so you know what, maybe he's changed. But you can still see how like, and obviously like that is just creep shit, not a fan in any way.
It's just the way he worded it, I think, turned me.
So eloquently and so matter of fact and like in what it is. And it's interesting, and it makes me be like so many of the Northern Europe, especially Norwegians and like people up there, like I think we talked about this kind of like coming out, like there's a number like Vinterberg and a number of different directors that like come out of that like school of film, and even Ingmar Bergman and stuff like that. Like they make movies that touch on taboos.
Yeah.
And that was originally what this conversation was going to kind of be about, is like, what does it mean to touch on taboo?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting to have someone, and hey, Ingmar Bergman, like talk about like like people, Stellan Skarsgård, for example, talked about how like he liked Nazis. He was a Nazi,
Right.
you know, like Ingmar Bergman, and like, what does that do to your viewings of it? And I think for some,
so much.
wait, what?
That explains so much.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's so many things that it's like, what,
I mean, Stanley Kubrick, you know, like,
yeah. Yeah.
it made me think of, well, not in terms of taboo, but just like awful people making movies, and like how much do we rationalize like the movie being good versus them being awful.
And I think it's another great reminder, this whole saga, that like being a director does not mean you're morally good. Like there's no, like, it's just like being a CEO of a company does not make you smart. It does not mean you're the smartest person. It does not mean you're the hardest worker. It's the exact same thing that being a director and being an artist does not make you a good person. And so it's very, you have to be very careful in putting anyone on a pedestal, in terms of morality or anything like that. Like they can come out and say, they can say good things and they should be applauded for things like that.
Yeah.
But to just blanketly adore and admire people just for that, you have to be very careful, because it's a slippery slope. And then you start to get very defensive about like hearing negative things about them. Which hopefully I'm not coming across that way, because I liked his films. It certainly is not.
I don't feel like you're arguing over anything. Yeah.
Oh, good. Then my true motive has not been revealed.
Brian's on the list.
Shut up! Shut up! I'm cutting it out. That's what I was worried about. Yeah, just yeah. I mean, I feel like these kind of conversations are going to come up in the podcast,
right? Yeah,
forever. Like this is just the way it goes. Like, and what does it mean to separate the art from the artist, if that's even something someone wants to do? Like maybe they don't even want to do that, and respect to them.
I would even raise that kind of description to like, what does it mean to make films about humanity? What is humanity? You know, like, does that, because this was what I was asking myself, of like, how, like, where is the line, right? Of what are you allowed and not allowed to make or think about or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I had to check myself. Like, am I being too morally like stringent on these sorts of conversations, you know?
True.
Like, yeah,
because obviously that ends up being the death knell of this too, is like deciding like, oh no, these are the right moral things, and you can only do things based on that. We would be in such a worse place in the film world, specifically, if we decided, okay, these are the only topics you can make movies on. I think we agree, like, the best times in film history was when they broke out of those paradigms, specifically the Hays Code, for example. The breaking out of that, and even the pre-Hays Code, are some of the best stuff you're ever going to watch. When this freedom of expression became, I mean, and at least at that time was like monetarily beneficial. And so like that rarely happens a lot of times, is when like the confluence of creativity and finances like all work out like that. That's a very rare thing, and hopefully we're in it again. Hopefully we are in a time. Was the drama successful? I guess that's the question.
I mean, it's been getting a lot of good reviews. I don't know how it's doing at the box office, but
I don't know either, but I think overall, I mean, it's been getting relatively high marks, which I think it is deserving of that. It certainly is deserving of that, and I think the Zendaya and Pattinson's performances are great. And all that. And it does say something really interesting. And then reading the article, and it wasn't even really until talking with you that I kind of like understood a little bit more of this kind of like blame game that it feels like he's playing with his films. Of like what it means to be blamed for something you didn't do. Both of these films do that. So now I got to watch Sick of Sick of Myself, I think is what
Yeah, I
it's
was trying
called.
to read like what that movie was about to
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yeah.
That also has like it's funny because like on Letterboxd his movies are all kind of like
Yeah.
high
High reviews.
threes. Like they're pretty well reviewed
Yeah.
films. So it's interesting. At least from like a film cinephile perspective, these are very well done
Yeah.
films that are very interesting.
Well respected, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, we'll see.
well, whatever his next movie is, I guess that will be the ultimate tell, won't it? We'll have to come back for that.
Yeah. Well, it does kind of make me want to revisit Lolita, Stanley Kubrick's, because I
I
remember
think so.
enjoying that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
because also Stanley Kubrick, talk about like the guy that was willing to go there with so many things. Like,
right.
you could point to all of his films as like touching on some taboo topic.
Right.
It's why artificial intelligence is
Rocked.
so fucking strange and is not Steven Spielberg's film because it's so like it. Oh my god!
Yeah.
And honestly,
So weird.
that's what gives Stanley Kubrick that edge. Like obviously he had to be this astonishing, unbelievably amazing filmmaker and director.
Yeah.
Did he also? And here's the other question: did he have to be a little evil to do it?
Yeah.
Do you have to be a little sick to make something? You have to be. I do believe you have to be sick in a certain way. I don't think you have to be a predator, but you do have
Right.
to be sick in a certain way.
I mean, he
Just
was
like
abusive and like
yeah,
maniacal,
yeah,
which is like its own
yeah,
thing. Like I
yeah,
don't think you need to
exactly.
particularly do that. Like
Yeah,
which, and I feel like a lot of directors are like that. Like I've heard
yeah.
stories about like Michael Bay and like Fincher and all these
Cameron.
people, James Cameron. Like
Yeah,
they're
even Christopher
evil.
Nolan. Like yeah, Christopher Nolan like doesn't have chairs on set.
Yeah, crazy,
Like it's weird shit like that where it's like, what
crazy.
are we doing?
That can't be ADA approved.
No, it's crazy. Like, I get the kind of like idea behind it, but you don't
Yeah,
follow through with something that nuts.
yeah,
Um,
that's just insane.
yeah.
Dictatorial.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Well, that's what the director is, right? They are the
right,
dictator.
right.
And what they say goes. I think Kevin O'Leary, who Mr. Wonderful, who was in Marty Supreme, talked about
Mm.
how Josh Safdie was like his only boss ever, and was like coming in with his own ideas. But Josh Safdie basically had to tell him like, no, I'm your boss,
Like
and
you
I
have to
tell
do
you
what
what
I
to do, and you
say.
listen to me. And that was like hard for him to get past. But he kind
Sure.
of like come to understood what the position entailed, and I think
Mm.
it's interesting that that is like one of the few dictatorial positions that still feels important to be dictatorial.
Mm.
Like the director, is there probably is some really interesting examples of like films that like issue the typical hierarchy of filmmaking to do
Mm.
something else that is less like that. But it
Sure.
does feel like one of those things where it needs to move at such a speed that you do need someone that has that dictatorial mindset.
Yeah.
Um,
Cause
does it
like
have to be abusive? I don't think it has to be abusive. Like, of
yeah.
course it doesn't. Like, that's just that's just frosting on top. You know, like
Yeah.
that's all these toppings that these guys bring. Because once again, these positions attract freaks. Let's be
Yeah.
real. CEOs attract these maniacal monsters, and I
Yeah.
think the director position does attract a certain kind of person too.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. The people who are power hungry will definitely like attract like seek those
Yeah.
positions.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to say every
Um
director is like that, but
right.
definitely like it does
It
attract certain
it
people. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It triggers something.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, yeah, on your kind of like rhetorical questions, I feel like I've read this thing of like humanity is able to achieve more through hierarchical organization. Like it just like benefits society to like have that kind of
Yeah.
structure, but I don't necessarily think it has to be like exploitive or like abusive or uneven, right? Like
Yeah.
when I think of someone who's trying to eschew hierarchical like traditions, I think of Robert Altman and
Yeah.
like how much he's allowing the soup to kind of stir into itself and like
Yeah.
no, you don't have that authority like they have that authority,
Yeah.
like kind of switching up the roles a little bit,
Yeah.
especially with like who's writing, like the actors, how much agency they have, over costume and stuff like that,
Yeah.
allowing sound to be more malleable through how they're recording it and stuff like that. But on the flip side, you still need the Robert Altman to like create that environment.
It feels that way, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's. I mean, it's even like how like there are benefits in the economics of the world to a
Right.
China like thing versus an American thing. Well, America's getting very close to becoming this, but like having a central economy, you can make moves faster than
Right.
you can with an American economy, I guess you might say.
Right.
So it is just like, yeah, those are just facts. We're not trying to make moral things on it
Judgments.
because
Yeah.
moral judgments on any of these things. But those are just the facts. And I think
Yeah.
that's an interesting way to look at movies too, is like, here are just the facts. And then it is important to also bring
Have
up
your own
and
story.
to have that. And then the moral stuff is too, like when you look at Picasso painting, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
appreciate it, but also know like that guy was
He's a
not
fucking-
good as well, Yeah, because I'm certainly not for completely ignoring what these people do. Like that's not right. And
Right.
especially in today's day and age, like there are some people that are really sick, like J.K. Rowling, for example, who is
Right.
such a transphobe. And there's obviously a huge movement, especially around among trans people and trans allies, to like do not consume Harry Potter
Yeah.
because she is so explicitly in the trenches
Yeah.
to hurt these people.
Yeah.
And that's something I agree with. Like, I'm not going to support a lot of these things, and I find it to be wrong. And at the very least, shout it from the rooftops at how bad of a person she is. Now, there are levels to this, and I think like J.K. Rowling being in the trenches, like if Borgli was in the trenches, like being like
Defending this shit.
defending this, then then I do think that's a different story.
Yeah.
He is being quiet on it. I don't know that's good or bad. I don't know. He definitely is listening to his PR specialist or whatever. Like that would be what you would do. I think a PR would tell someone to do.
Yeah. Like don't fucking
say it where it's gonna blow over.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he hopes, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean,
because also someone released this for a reason.
yeah, oh, of course.
You know?
And just before the film comes out, like it's all of
Right.
these things. Like there is like these are, but I guess it is important to know. But does it make a difference in terms of how it got here? Yeah, I guess there's a lot of everything's so complicated, and but you
mean-
can't control it. I don't know.
To like play devil's advocate, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe he is reformed or whatever, and someone
Maybe.
like he fired an agent or fucked over his best friend or something, and like they're releasing this thing to fuck over his movie. There's like that kind of side of how these things play out that we kind of like don't know.
We'll
and
never
like
know.
he's like second English language film, like he's not to fucking diss him or whatever, but he's not like Woody Allen, like we're gonna tear this big cinema figure down. He's not like Christopher Nolan or like Denis Villeneuve. Like it's not gonna be headline shit.
Yeah, no, and his films are not that like, whoa, we're changing cinema forever or anything.
Exactly,
They're
yeah.
interesting films.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It's definitely lives in the like taboo, like interesting topics and interesting form. And
Yeah. Well, there you go.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I think that was a great conversation.
Yeah. I mean, it's always a good conversation.
Sometimes.
I mean,
Yeah.
our batting average is going down, but
No, stop it. Stop it. No, we're reinventing all of these things. It's all great.
we're learning.
Yeah, exactly. That's part of this too. And Borgli, you better be learning too.
Yeah.
Because I want to enjoy your next film. Please, God. Don't make me feel... Also, by the time... That's why I got to release this episode soon. I don't want this to come out after some new information comes out.
My God,
I got to get this out right away.
Monday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, right on, Kevin.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course.
And
Thank you for bringing it back onto the table.
yes. I got you. And folks, you know what? Do your research. And
reading is good.
Reading is good. And that's a wrap. We'll see you next time. Wind Reel and Print is a podcast by Salad Brain Productions.
You can find us on Instagram at Wind Reel and Print Pod.
You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts.
And please, if you like the show, leave a rating and review.
We'll see you next time.